So Stuart, frustrated really that you weren't able to capitalise on that morning's play?
Yeah, not a lot we can do about the weather. I think your good conditions to bowl in this morning, and we'd have liked to continue because that morning session got us in a really strong position. You know, if we got Wade just before lunch with Stokes' LBW, we'd have been sitting very strongly. So, yeah, real shame. We were desperate to get out there again, but the radar was pretty conclusive, wasn't it? It was a lot of rain coming our way. Lords gave it their best efforts till 5:30, but it's just too wet.
You're 5 sessions down now for the match. What do you reckon chances are of sort of forcing something out of this game?
We're pretty positive. We'd need to bowl Australia out by lunch, I think, tomorrow. I mean, there's 98 overs for the next 2 days, isn't there? Which for both teams has been enough to bowl each other out, hasn't it? So there's certainly hope for both sides. There could be quite an interesting, intriguing game left in this Test match, although we've lost so much for rain. So yeah, our bowling unit's aim is to get the next 6 wickets by lunch, and then I suppose ideally bat till half an hour before lunch on day 5 and try and force a result that way. I think this pitch has got 10 good balls in it in each day. So hopefully we'd be bowling last. There's a bit of dryness, so Leachy could come into the game. There's some good footholds there. So I think we'll get 98 overs in for the next 2 days. So there is a chance for a result.
Stuart, have you ever bowled to a batsman as fidgety as Steve Smith? And what's it like? I mean, is it distracting when he's leaving it alone like that outside off stump? How does it affect the way you bowl?
To be honest, I saw a video clip. Was it on Sky today where they showed a clip of him leaving? Actually, when you're bowling at him, you don't see that because you bowl the ball, you're sort of looking to see where the ball goes, you turn around and walk away. I suppose the fielders see a little bit more of that. I think he is quite fidgety. I think he might have even done Aleem Dar on Heads LBW because he threw his arm out as if to say that's going down the leg side, and I think Aleem was going to give it and maybe saw Steve's hand go. I think he just sort of he explains every bit of cricket on the field with his movements after it's happened. So it's the way that he stays in his bubble, in his sort of batting bubble, and he does it very well.
I guess a special moment for Jofra to take his first Test wicket today. Just how excited have you been to open the bowling with someone new and alongside him yesterday and then today? And do you remember your first Test wicket, and was it as joyful as that?
Yeah, I mean, any Test wicket you get's great. From memory, I had to wait a little bit longer than Jofra at the SSC in Colombo. Hawkeye suggests it's the flattest pitch in the world, and it certainly felt like that on my debut. But I mean, he's got all the attributes to. I mean, he's already been a successful international cricketer, having been involved in a World Cup win. But he's got some great attributes. I mean, these conditions at Lords have been a bit favourable to the bowlers in day 1 and day 2, but that's not taking away anything from the attributes he brings, because you feel even on sort of day 4, day 5 pitches with his height and bounce, he's going to bring stumps into play. And it was a bit of a learner for him this morning, maybe a yard too short for all of us until we made a conscious effort to get it fuller, and we got instant reward, bringing us stumps into play for Bancroft, and then Wokesy's full of a length to bring the edge. So I think that was a bit, getting used to the slope in red ball cricket at Lords, etc. But he showed great control, bowls a nice nagging length, and I don't think there was any doubts within the group and within the media that he had the attributes to be a Test cricketer, and there's going to be times when he blows teams away.
And for you as well, I mean, you played with, I think, Steve Harmison in the early part of your career, and Fred and people like that. But is Jofra the quickest you've bowled with, and what does that bring for you as a guy at the other end that maybe you can form a partnership together?
I don't think Jofra bowled as quick as he can out there. I think the conditions showed that you wanted to be in a really good area and challenging off stump. It's hard to compare with different bowlers. I mean, I was on the field with Harmy a few times where you were genuinely like, this is express pace. I think Mark Wood in St Lucia was a period of theatre in cricket that everyone on that field was blown away by the pace. I don't think Jofra's spell was necessarily like that, but what impressed me was his nagging line, the fact that he can bring all dismissals in. He's aggressive with his bouncer, and this is his first Test match. It's a big learning experience, and he seems willing and keen to learn. So you sometimes forget, is he 24? I think we sort of, in our minds, because he's been involved in World Cup and been talked about so much in the last 6 months, that we think he's a really experienced, older, sort of knows-it-all cricketer. He's still learning his trade a little bit, although he's doing it with great success.